Today I compiled 10 of my album reviews of the Rolling Stone 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list. Are country musicians the new rock stars? No one is quite sure when or why, but rock in the mainstream died over the past 2 decades. Over the same time, country has become more and more influenced by rock, to the point where ronky tonk is the newest trend of the 2020s. Country rock is of course not new, but it's notable that there are more electric guitar solos on Lambert's 6th album than on the latest Imagine Dragons record. Lambert is still firmly entrenched in the country tradition, with the typical boy-girl duets and lyrics about church, family and Texas, but songs for certain pop-rock bombast to prevent this 2-hour double album from dragging. The album does have some poor songs, the cheesy Highway Vagabond, the camp Pink Sunglasses, and For the Birds with the woeful backup singers. It does slow down a bit in the second half, where Lambert's self-indulgent Wallace and the Heartbreak picks up just in time on Bad Boy to bring the album to a satisfying end. 3.5 out of 5. Mexico has long impacted American popular music, with the Mexican folk song which the American-born Richie Valens turned into the rock classic La Bamba. Mexican regional acts like Peso Pluma, Eslabon Armado, and Grupo Frontera can be found in the top of the Billboard Hot 100. Between these two musical trends, we find a Tex-Mex explosion of the 90s, led by the queen of Tejano music herself, Selena. On her 4th album, the last released before her death, Selena expanded into different musical influences, including rock on the fun closer Llano and hip-hop and techno cumbia. Delightful, so bad it's good car crash of a song. The juxtaposition between that song and the positive Alpine Tus Desprecios is comical. I don't know any Spanish, but unlike with Shakira, I can't define any meaning from Selena's singing. A melodrama without meaning is just a whole lot of noise. To top it all off, the mariachi horns, accordions and other instrumental trappings sound cheap and stout to my ears. Overall, Amor Prohibido can be praised for its ambition, but not all of its experiments works for me. 2 out of 5. Among the internationalist Beatles and American-obsessed Rolling Stones, the third best band of the British invasion, Sorry The Who, remained firmly English. This was to their detriment on their 5th studio album, which saw terrible sales in the US, starting a trend of downward sales which would persist for another 3 albums. On this record, the Kinks moved away from the garage rock stylings of You Really Got Me, moved on to more sophisticated storytelling with a more varied orchestration. This includes the music hall-inspired nonsense of Harry Rack, the homoerotic David Watts, gay and fancy-free indeed, and the evil mother-in-law tale on Situation Vacant. Besides the silliness, something else also delves into the realities of performing on the Ray Davies penned Death of a Clown. The beautiful, lonely Waterloo sunset closes out an impressive record. 4 out of 5. The birth of rock and roll. Ike Turner, Tina Turner's abusive ex-husband, discovered Howlin' Wolf the same year he recorded Rocket 88, arguably the first rock song. Ike even plays piano on the opener Moaning at Midnight. So this album can't help but sound for the primitive, and the early songs in his compilation album 50 singles suffer little from the poor recording technology of the time. Despite this, the album immediately grabs your attention, especially Howlin' Wolf's distinctive nasty wail, and the distorted electric guitar groans as punk as anything the Stooges self-titled. It's not like Muddy Waters' The Anthology, where the first half of the album can be skipped entirely without missing anything. At the same time, there's no Banished Boy or You Shook Me on this record. No pop hits which stand head and shoulder above the rest, but it's a surprisingly cohesive compilation, which demonstrates the consistent quality of Howlin' Wolf's work. 3.3 out of 5. How to describe this record? It's like being taken to a demented theme park by David Bowie and Tiny Tim. You're taken to a duel in the Wild West Park in the opener, the bass mirrors the chugging of the roller coaster after the big drop on Amateur Hour, you're waltzing in the merry-go-round with a narcissist on track 3, and you're on your edge of your seat to witness a decidedly camp version of Romeo and Juliet on Here in Heaven. And so in the first 4 songs. Throughout it all, you're accompanied by Adrian Fisher's fantastic guitar, battling Ron Mail's intricate keyboard lines for melodic supremacy. Russell Mail's bizarre, feathery falsetto ably serves even the most difficult rhythmic runs his brother throws at him. Though not all must be well in the Mail household if Russell is wanting to hang himself from my family tree. If you need the criticism, I could complain the first side is considerably stronger than the second, but it's loud and weird and camp, and what else do you want anyway? 5 out of 5. First impression of Sheryl Crow was not good. All I Wanna Do, a smash hit from Crow's debut album, is a fine pop song, summery and enjoyable. But it was not a song that demanded interrogation into Crow's work, and led to her reputation as a rock star for mums. For a follow-up, Crow had something to prove, shedding her co-writers to produce the album almost entirely by herself. Second impressions are better. Nothing groundbreaking, but the songs are heavier and funkier than expected, and Crow can really sing on classic hit If It Makes You Happy. But it's the slower songs that draw my interest. Oh Marie is a familiar tale of a woman trying to replace the hole in her heart with unfamiliar men, but dressed up nicely. And The Book, with its warm cello and honking fuzz guitar, has the best instrumental on the record. Shame Ordinary Woman closed on such sour note. 2.6 out of 5. Why would you tempt fate like that? The moment that the pop rock band Big Star named their debut album #1 record, they were doomed to be commercial failures for their entire career. But who needs money when you can appear on the Rolling Stone list? #1 record is considered a seminal record in the development of pop rock, power pop, and college rock, and building on the Beatles and the Byrds with a certain melancholy lyrical edge. The major disadvantage of being very influential is that in 2023 you can seem a little generic. That's not Big Star's fault, of course. There's a weakness of mine that wasn't born 40 years earlier to listen to this record with fresh ears. But if you're familiar with Cheap Trick and R.E.M's poppier stuff, you won't discover anything new on this record. Nevertheless, Big Star is very capable of crafting nice little pop tunes, alternating between upbeat numbers with jangly guitar riffs and acoustic ballads without ever losing momentum. Nice little album. We'll have to wait and see where Big Star goes from here. 3.3 out of 5. Today I listened to album 473, Daddy Yankee's 2004 album Barra Refina. There was never a chance I would like this album. Daddy Yankee's third album introduced the world to reggaeton on the massive hit Gasolina, but Barra Refina was a huge album. Clocking it over an hour, it's not the longest records reviewed so far. It's 21 exhausting tracks long and they never let up. Daddy Yankee never stops rapping like a territorial Rottweiler. Every song has the same dembo rhythm played on the worst drums in St. Anger. It's not totally fair. There is stuff I like in this album, like the recorder on Cuéntame, and the trumpets and tuba and Salud y Vida, which bring in some nice Latin flair. And guests like salsa singer Andy Montañez and poet Gavilan bring a nice change of pace. Daddy Yankee is also a surprisingly confident rapper in English, and he relaxes his macho posture a bit on the crossover chasing Like You, but I did not enjoy listening to this album. It's like working in the construction yard, long, loud and tiring. 1 out of 5. Weird album name. On her debut album, Sister needs to vent about men. She cheats on an excellent supermodel, is in a poor relationship on the weekend, and worries about maintaining a boyfriend with a superstar lifestyle and Gojin and broken clocks. We can all relate, but seriously, Sister is charmingly neurotic. She worries about only being appreciated for her sexual prowess or normal girl, and on Garden, say it like that, she asks her boyfriend to lie about still finding her attractive. The reduction could tell can be great, like on a soaring, string-soaked Drew Barrymore, and transitions from Aphex Twin-esque twinkly synth lines to gentle acoustic strumming on a whim. But for some reason, the producers are also willing to drown out Sister's gorgeous voice with overloud bass. She uses her trademark seductive slur to great effect on this album, which is not here to arouse you. In fact, on Doves in the Wind, she's sick of men and sex entirely, because it's retiring alone with a dildo. In a world of neuroses and asshole men, they're looking for just one thing: control. So that's why it's called that. 4 out of 5. This is an album full of 325 ranks in the Rolling Stone Greatest Albums of All Time listed between 2003 and 2020. The Serenus Pillow is a great album. Sing-along pop hits like Somebody to Love, raw radio classics like Today, and deep-cut instrumentals like Embryonic Journey. For one, the voting body of the Rolling Stones list changed from a small group of insular rock critics to a large, diverse group of musicians and critics, so the list cannot be directly compared. And the reality is that 100 great albums have been released in the past 56 years. Jefferson Airplane couldn't keep up when the Rolling Stone voices became less monolithic. Everyone loves the two great Grace Slick sung singles, even though white rap has become a tired drug cliche. But if I had discovered the singing and writing ability of the Slick family myself, I would have used them on more than only a couple of songs. Beyond that, the album is good not great, so perhaps its current placing is justified. 3.5 out of 5. Join me soon for another album review. Like, share, comment and subscribe.